Do you need stainless steel frets? I'm going to jump right to the end. I don't know. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So the purpose of today's video is to talk a little bit about stainless steel frets and some other fret wire that you can find at one of our sponsors, Stuart McDonald. Link in the description below, guys, to stainless, nickel steel, and cryogenically treated fret wire. We're going to talk about all those things in today's video. But I was flipping around on YouTube and you know how it does, you go down a rabbit hole, and I saw the title to a video, which was, do you need stainless steel fret wire? I don't remember who did the video, but I thought that's a good question, and I don't know. So I'm not going to try to convince you one way or the other if you do need stainless steel fret wire. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the different kinds of fret wire that are easy to come by, and plug a sponsor of mine, Stuart McDonald, which is where I get all my fret wire. Who knows? I might even talk about some fret wire that you can't get from Stu Mac, because sometimes I go through I drift through a transmitter. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so let's talk about stainless steel fret wire versus nickel steel. Anytime anybody asks me, should I use stainless steel fret wire? You guys in the comment section right now, you can hear it. What they're typing is what I always say. Everything you liked when you were in high school was recorded with a guitar that didn't have stainless steel fret wire. Now, I'm old, so that is absolutely true for my generation and guys who are even older than I am. If you're a younger guy, that might not be true. But if you're in your 50s, everything you liked in high school, if you're in your 50s or older, everything that you liked in high school was recorded with a guitar that didn't have stainless steel frets. Okay? Stainless steel is a fairly modern innovation in the world of electric guitars. Of course, the electric guitar isn't exactly an old instrument, but frets in general are a fairly new phenomenon in the world of stringed instruments. So, but attempting to get frets to last for a long, long time, and is exactly why we have all these different kinds of fret material now. So back in the old days, you had nickel steel. Okay, cool. Worked great. Like I said, everything you liked in high school was recorded with a guitar with nickel steel. All the guitars that cost $750,000 now, because they're so old and cool and valuable, those don't have stainless steel frets on them, unless they were owned by somebody who just that they owned the parlance that they owned the guitar makes it more valuable. The guitar isn't just on its own valuable. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Having said that, there's been a lot of players who have come along. Eddie Van Halen is, of course, the guy who everybody thinks of because he insisted on stainless steel frets on his EVH guitars. I don't know what he did back in the old days, but I think he just would go through necks and burn through them. I have a guitar. You know what? Let's look at it. All right, I have owned this guitar since 1992, and it was an instrument that was built for me by master luthier Bruce Clay when I worked for him at Rare Bird Guitar Laboratory. I did a little bit of stuff to this, but Bruce really built it. And it's a great, great guitar. So I've owned this guitar for more than 30 years. The frets are not stainless, and there's like zero signs of wear on them. And I've played this guitar a lot. Again, no sign of wear on these frets. The way that I play, I guess I don't need stainless steel frets based on this guitar. So there might be some people, though, who really like to wrestle the guitar or play hard or do a lot of bending, or they just grind on those frets. And if that's you, then maybe stainless steel frets are a good option. I can't say who you are, but I do know this much. Having a guitar for a long, long time does not mean that the frets are worn out, and sometimes replacing frets can be a pain. Leveling and dressing frets can be an expensive proposition too if you don't do it yourself, which you really should do. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, let's keep talking about stainless steel frets. Like I said, stainless steel is a fairly new thing in the grand scheme of guitars. But introducing new stuff is always good, right? So I have. It's easy to get stainless fret wire these days. It probably didn't used to always be that easy. So I have 3 examples of different fret wire here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about all of them, and then maybe we'll get to the bottom of whether or not you need stainless steel frets. So frets come in different crowns and heights, and the tangs have a different depth. Like for example, this fret wire is StewMac number 149. It's a wide medium. The width of the fret is 0.103, so almost 1/8 of an inch. The crown is 0.046 tall, and the tang slot, the slot needed for the width of the tang needs to be 23 thousandths. Okay, so man, I've had this piece of fret wire for a long time. This was probably the stuff that I used back in the old days, and it's good. But I've since switched to a different kind of fret wire, which we're going to talk about here in a second. So, okay. Now let's talk about some stainless wire. I don't know what the dimensions of this stainless wire is because I just bought it for the purposes of this video. But we could actually measure this with our StewMac fret calipers. Let's do that. All right. So the StewMac fret calipers are cool because these are Luthier's calipers, so they have a little slot in the jaws there, and that's the fret wire to actually fit in. So, all right. So let's zero these guys out here. These frets are 107 wide, so not far from the other ones. The height of the 51 thousandths. So see what I mean? You can get the actual fret in there and read it. And I happen to know that the slot for these is you need 23 thousandths for that too. So this is StewMac stainless fret wire. And finally, something that I think is even newer than stainless fret wire is this Stewart McDonald cryo wire. Now this is regular, I'm guessing, this is regular nickel steel fret wire that's been cryogenically treated. Now, there's a lot of science that goes into that, and a dummy like me can't really wrap my brain around it. But what I do know is this stuff is a little harder than, it seems a little harder than regular nickel steel. Okay, but it's not as difficult to work as stainless steel. We're going to get to that in a second. So that's a pretty cool thing. It's kind of right in the middle. If you're one of those guys who says, I can hear the difference between stainless steel frets and regular nickel steel, and I like the vintage stuff, so I like nickel steel. All right, cool. If you want something that's a little harder than that, maybe this cryo wire is the hot setup for you because it should sound the same. Now, if you're the guy who can tell the difference between what frets he has, maybe you can hear the difference between cryo wire too. I don't know. We use this cryo wire exclusively because, one, I think it's neat. And I think it's a cool sales tool, so I can say, we use cryogenically treated fret wire. I mean, I think it's cool, and if you think it's cool too, then you'll be like, yeah, I'm going to use that stuff. Or if you think, fret wire is fret wire, I'm just going to use nickel steel. Or if you think, I like having all my guitars to have stainless steel, so I'm going to use stainless steel on everything. You guys get the point. Okay, so let's do some very, very unscientific tests to all the different fret wire and see what it's like. This cryo wire is about the same size as all the other stuff. Width is 0.95, crown is 4.5, tang depth is 7.3. So it's very, very similar to all the other fret wires. This fret wire, the regular nickel stuff that I was telling you about back in the old, this is so old that they don't tell you how deep the fret slot is. They tell you how wide the fret slot needs to be. They don't do that anymore. Okay. So let's take this piece of StewMac regular nickel steel fret wire and just cut it with these StewMac nippers, and it's real easy to cut. Let's take a piece of this cryo wire and our StewMac fret nippers and see, again, there's no way for you guys to tell. It cuts a little different, okay? I'm not going to say it's a lot harder to cut because it's not, but it's a little different. All right, now let's take a piece of this stainless wire here. Come on, stainless. All right, and we'll take our StewMac fret nippers and, okay, not bad. So the stainless is definitely harder to work than the regular nickel steel or the cryo wire, but having a good tool makes all the difference in the world. And gang, let me tell you, if you're buying fret tools and you're not buying them from StewMac, you're doing it wrong. You know why? Because, not because they're gonna last forever, but because when you wear these out, if you do, StewMac will replace them absolutely free. Buy this set one time. Okay, that's enough of that. All right, so that, you know, again, you guys can't tell what this is like when I'm cutting it, but I'm telling you because I've got them all laid out. Let's take I've got a piece of sandpaper glued to one of my favorite tools of all time, the paint stick. Let's just take a look and see what happens when I grind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There is so I've ground a little, you guys probably can't see it. I ground a little tiny angle on this piece of nickel steel with 10 swipes of a piece of sandpaper glued to a paint stick. Let's see what it does to the cryo wire. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It actually, hold on, let me get my Leo Fender goggles on here. I'm looking, and again, you guys can't see this. You're gonna have to take my word for it. It looks like the nickel steel and the cryo wire are similar, but the cryo wire has a little less material removed, okay? Now let's take a look at the stainless wire and see if it does even anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And yeah, you know what? It did something. It's not like it's not removing material. Let me see if I can show you guys. So, all right, so I'm holding the regular nickel steel and the stainless in my hand. I'm gonna see, there's no way you guys are gonna be able to see this. I'm gonna put it up to the camera, and you can kind of see maybe the difference there. Guys, I don't know if you can see this in the camera or not, but you have to take my word for it. So the stainless does work harder than the regular nickel steel or the cryo wire, but of course that means it lasts longer too. So if you wear out frets really fast, maybe you want to consider stainless steel frets. If you don't, then I would say you don't need stainless steel frets. If you are a casual player, then you probably don't need stainless steel frets. Or if you have lots and lots and lots of guitars that you play all of them, then you probably don't need stainless steel frets because, you know what I mean? You're not putting, if you're putting 100 hours into playing guitar every year, or let's say you put 365 hours into playing guitar every year, but you have 10 guitars and you divide it up equally, that means you only have 36 hours on every guitar every year, as opposed to if you had one guitar, you have 365 hours. See what I mean? So if you only have one guitar, maybe you might want to consider stainless steel frets. Fortunately, you don't have to only have one guitar. I don't know anybody who just has one guitar who's really into playing guitar. Guitar players have this thing where they like guitars. Okay, let's see. If you like the sound of the old school stuff, you don't need stainless steel frets. If you don't care, you just want the guitar to last forever, then you might want to have stainless steel frets. Let's talk about that for a second. I don't think that guitars are disposable items, but I think that like sometimes guitar necks are. So if I don't know what it costs to have somebody refret your guitar with stainless steel fret wire, but it might be easier to just buy a new neck. Again, your mileage may vary. You're gonna have to figure this one out for yourself. It might be if you have this thing where like everything I own has to literally last until the end of time. I don't know what you do when it's time to buy tires, but fret wire is a wear item just like a tire is. Some of them are better than others, and some of them last longer than others. So, okay, you're gonna have to decide whether, be honest with yourself. I play, not very much, or I have a very light touch, or I only use this part of the fretboard. You don't need to have stainless steel frets to do that. But I get it, man. Sometimes you just want what you want because cool stuff is cool because it's cool. Let's see. There are some other types of fret wire that I don't have to display right now. Some of the Evo Gold stuff, that's neat fret wire. I used it a couple of times and it's neat because it's gold and it works great. I don't have any trouble with it and I think it lasts a good long time. There's also, what you need to remember is there's nickel steel and then there's nickel steel. So some nickel compounds and some alloys are harder than others, just like some stainless fret material or some stainless alloys are harder than others. I can tell you this much. In the limited metallurgical information that I have, there's no way in hell that fret wire is made with, say, for example, 303 stainless. I don't know. You would need a milling machine to work it, and even then. But there, you can, as you can imagine, maybe some guitars that are lower priced use a softer alloy fret material. I don't know. Maybe they use a harder one. I have no idea what they use. I know though that for a fact. I have landed on the Stuart McDonald Cryo Wire, and guys, I love it. It's cool because it works real easy, and it's cool because I can tell everyone, hey, it's cryogenically treated fret wire. And there's a link in the description below to StuMac Cryo Treated Fret Wire. Check it out and see if you like it. We've noticed that we have guitars that we made a decade ago that are still with the same frets. My friend Mac has a bass that we built him over a decade ago, and he plays it out, I think, over 100 shows a year, and frets are great. So, I guess, again, your mileage may vary. But anyway, gang, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about fret wire, please leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff. It's better to share. It's better to join us on Patreon, join us on YouTube. But share this content as many places as you can possibly imagine. This is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. Guys, have a great week. We'll see you next time.